Unfortunately for Angel Reese, she's dead last. And I'm not kidding you in this list of players. And she looks really, really bad in comparison. And we're going to take a look at that.
Imagine if I told you that one of the WNBA's most anticipated rookies is really one of the league's angel of the least effective scorers, even though Reese has a huge social media following. Many of her admirers won't accept the reality of her shooting statistics.
So refreshing to see some shots actually make it. Refreshing? Oh no, that's Angel Reese's music! Bang! You like Mustangs? Your favorite player is Lawal Dang? Oh, you said bang!
Hold on, because I'm going to provide a startling fact that shows how awful she actually is. If you believe she is already awful, you will quickly discover that she is considerably worse. The figures are honest, and you'll see why basketball luminaries openly criticize Reese's play once I show you where she stands in relation to all WNBA scorers. We'll reveal two legends at the end of this video that Reese formerly believed to be in her corner, but are now disparaging her. This is where perception and reality diverge more than you may imagine. Are you prepared to leave?
A couple of the most baffling things that I've seen this offseason is the lack of videos involving Angel Reese working on layups. Now, look, the layup issue is a real issue for Angel Reese, and I don't understand the taking all the... I mean, yeah, sure, you can practice 2-point shots just inside the three-point line. You can practice three-point shots, but there seems to be an emphasis on that from Angel Reese, and I don't understand, because she should be trying to perfect her game inside 5 foot.
Did you know that out of all the WNBA volume scorers, Angel Reese has the lowest shooting efficiency? The figures are much worse than anyone anticipated, and we need to discuss them.
All right, back to business. Line bag work, Brittany Griner. You said you rang? Bang!
Somebody said she's got the coordination skills of a baby giraffe. I don't know what baby giraffes did to receive that kind of slander, but I won't stand for it. Bang!
The WNBA is back in little over a month. Friendly reminder, we're not watching because of one person. We're watching because of her, too.
The gold standard metric for assessing a player's offensive value is their true shooting percentage. True shooting percent, as opposed to basic field goal percentage, provides us with the full picture by taking into consideration all field goal, three-point, and free throw attempts. It shows how effectively a player uses their offensive possessions in addition to how frequently they score. This statistic differentiates the top scorers from the volume shooters in a league where every possession counts.
Chicago Sky's Angel Reese found herself at the very bottom of the list, sitting at 30th, with a true shooting percentage of just 46.4%. The contrast between the two rookies, both with massive college followings and major fan bases, ignited strong reactions online.
Now let's get to the uncomfortable truth. Angel Reese currently sits at a dismal 46.4% true shooting percentage, ranking her 30th in the league. This isn't just below average. It's scraping the bottom of the barrel. To put this in perspective, most established WNBA players maintain numbers well above 50%, with stars often exceeding it. Reese isn't even in the same universe.
Be nice to look this clumsy at your job and then declare you're underpaid. Privilege! Bang! Justice for all baby giraffes out there. I will fight the good fight. Bang! There's one thing to take from these videos: never give up, because if she can do it, you can do it too.
Well, she's just a rookie getting used to pro competition, you could think. However, when you consider her classmates, that justification is exposed. Despite receiving the most defensive attention of any rookie, Caitlin Clark has an amazing 58.3% true shooting percentage, which places her 6th overall in the league, first among rookies, and second among all guards, only surpassed by Kelsey Mitchell-Clark. Reese's difficulties are said to be explained by the same rookie learning curve that Clark is excelling under.
Caitlin Clark may just be starting her WNBA journey, but she's already making waves, not only with highlight plays, but also with cold, hard numbers. A recent viral post on X revealed the true shooting efficiencies of the league's top 30 scorers, and it sparked quite the controversy among fans. Clark, now a rookie with the Indiana Fever, ranked 6th amongst all shooters with a true shooting percentage of 58.3%. True shooting percentage takes into account a player's field goals, three-pointers, and free throws, making it a key indicator of overall scoring efficiency. For a first-year player, it's elite company to be in.
For a moment, let's assume that Clark is the only exception. You know what the 4th overall selection is? At 55.2%. Rick Jackson is likewise near the top of the list. However, because of their protracted injuries from the previous season, Cameron Brink, the 2nd overall choice, and Camila Cardoso, the 3rd overall pick, were excluded from the efficiency list because their scores were insufficient to have a statistically meaningful base.
Clark's game has translated well to the pros. Her shooting from deep remains a threat, 33.9% from beyond the arc. She was 13th in the league, while her mid-range and inside games are just as effective. She ranked 4th in two-point field goal percentage. I mean, see, that's where I'd expect Angel Reese to be real high. Nah. And 2nd in free throw shooting with a remarkable 90.9%. Her effective field goal percentage, EFG, which adjusts for three-point shots being worth more, stood at 52.1%, good for 10th overall.
Now, here's something genuinely startling that no one is discussing. Reese's collection of her own failed shoots accounts for over 40% of her well-known rebounds. Let that sink in. Although the rebounding figures are spectacular on paper, her own inefficiency has contributed to some of their inflation. She is actually giving herself rebounding opportunities by missing baskets that other post players would change her effective field goal percentage may persuade you if her true shooting percent doesn't. 39.5% is league worst. In essence, Ree is a hole for offensive possessions. The Chicago Sky is statistically better off if practically anyone else had attempted that shot when she touches the ball with the intention of scoring. Despite her other contributions, her inefficiency limits her team's potential and affects the entire offense. That must be the reason why no one is watching over her.
By contrast, Reese's shooting woes drew criticism. She finished 30th in two-point percentage at 40%. God. 29th in three-point percentage, 18.8. And her effective field goal percentage was a league low 39.5%. That's crazy as hell. And I don't want to hear nothing about a big. We're going to take a look at something. Even from the free throw line, often a reliable scoring source for bigs, she landed 27th, considering most of Reese's shots come from close to the rim.
And guess what? When we start looking into the specific source of her shots and how she's missing them, these stats actually get worse. Angel Reese's shooting efficiency isn't just poor for a rookie. We haven't even reached the most damning data yet. Her shot selection and usage rate are historically poor for any WNBA player. Coaches can't afford to feed offensive possessions through ineffective scorers. Thus, players who shoot this poorly usually don't maintain high usage rates. Nevertheless, despite evidence that suggests she shouldn't, Reese still commands a big offensive role.
Some fans found the numbers hard to stomach. A 6'3" post player that shot 90% of shots from 5 foot within 5 foot is at 30. Another one said, OMG, Angel, get up, girl.
Much though those high-use, low-efficiency stats are worrisome in and of themselves, the statistics become much more worrying when you consider Angel Reese's performance within 5 feet from the hoop, where her 6 feet 3 inches frame should give her a decisive advantage. Guards 7 inches shorter than her are outshooting her at a mere 44.5% at point-blank range. This is not only frustrating from a basketball perspective, it is a basic inability to capitalize on her most noticeable physical attributes. I'm
going to be honest with you here. I think it is a deal that is eventually going to get her benched in the WNBA. I think that will happen one day. Because a good coach, if she ever gets one, is going to look at this and be like, you're 6'4", you're 6'3", you're too damn inefficient. I can't have you on the court. And, just perfect your craft. And then worry about all the other collateral things around you after the fact.
Let's consider the bigger picture. Reese's exceptional wingspan and height of 6 feet 3 inches make him a nuisance. For opponents, close to the basket point too, almost automatic points should be awarded when a player of her caliber positions themselves inside the realm of conventional basketball wisdom. However, Reese manages to convert these high percentage opportunities at a rate that would make even guys on the perimeter wince. The majority of WNBA players make these shots between 55 and 65% of the time, making a huge impression on Reese's 44.5% for all the wrong reasons even worse. She shoots a pitiful 11% from shots that are 5 to 9 feet from a hoop. Indeed, she makes 1 out of 10 mid-range shots.
It's just a fact. She is, it's more than a fact. She is not good at layups. But I was looking at her stats. I jotted some down right here, and she shoots an abysmal 39% from the field. She shot below 50% on shots less than 5 feet away, which is bad. And even worse than that is that shots from 5 to 9 feet, 13%.
This data is especially devastating because it compares smaller guards who encounter much more difficult obstacles. Completing the rim, consider 5 feet 8 inches Kelsey Mitchell, who regularly finishes better near the rim with an incredible 60% on shots within 5 feet of the hoop, while losing 7 inches to Reese Mitchell. Consider that for a moment. In the paint, a guard who almost reaches Reese's shoulders is more effective than one who has every possible physical edge. It's not just about height. Analysis of the video shows certain technical issues with Reese's finishing technique, including sloppy footwork, irregular release points, and a propensity to rush shots, even when they are uncontested. Her crossed wrists and pushing motion that comes from her hips rather than a normal shooting motion were noted in one analysis, which characterized her shooting form as a horror show of basketball basics. Some admirers even compare it to witnessing a clumsy young Giraffe. And
this tells you, look at effective bigs in the league. Jonquel Jones, one of my favorite players actually. Brittany Griner, 1 and 2. All right, that's what it's supposed to look like for somebody that's 6'3" and above. Asia Wilson, way up there. Then Mitchell, then Clark. Look, if you want to compare Angel to somebody like Aaliyah Boston, look at that. She's right here, 53.7% from 2-point percentage. She was ranked 13th in the league. Angel was ranked 30th.
When contrasting Reese with top post players who share comparable physical characteristics, the difference is even more noticeable. Brittany Griner makes 63.1% of her rim shots, compared to AEL Wilson's 67.3%. Instead of depending solely on height, both players know how to use their stature to their advantage by establishing deep positions with appropriate footwork and finishing with technique. Even Caitlin Clark, a key ball handler who is 4 inches shorter at 6 feet 0 inches and is subject to more defensive pressure, makes 54.1% of her 2-point shots. Clark accomplishes this even though she takes more challenging shots and frequently creates her own looks against predetermined defenders instead of receiving passes in predetermined positions.
Angel Reese doesn't look so hot here. Caitlin Clark, she did that as a rookie, folks. Think about that a minute. As a rookie.
What precisely accounts for this enormous gap, then? Certainly, there are no physical restrictions. Reese is fortunate to have the perfect basketball body, but it's not just for defensive purposes. Although she attracts defenders, she avoids the frequent double and triple teams that Clark deals with. It is inevitable to conclude that Reese's difficulties are caused by basic technological errors in her game. According to one source, this pointless inefficiency is an urgent problem that could endanger one's job. A player's long-term viability at the professional level is seriously called into question when their whole offensive value proposition should be converting high percentage looks close to the basket, and they are failing at that very task. Let's examine what is actually happening.
There's footage out there of Angel working on her game in the lab, as they say, and mostly what we see is Angel shooting three-pointers.
You would think that Angel Reese would be making layups till her arms give out, but her social media accounts paint a totally different picture. Her basketball career is on the line because of her obvious finishing problems that in recent training videos. Reese can be seen honing his three-point shooting technique, which would wow any coach. She's strangely concentrating on long-range shooting, an area where she only converted 18.8% of her tries last season, rather than addressing her point-blank difficulties. It's like seeing someone practice parallel parking before they now know how to turn on the vehicle. Those with even a basic understanding of basketball may quickly spot Reese's shooting form's technical shortcomings. From the beginning, her unstable base results in poor balance. Her arms and wrists cross awkwardly when she lets go of the ball, totally throwing off the alignment required for steady accuracy. Instead of shooting a basketball, her jerky release looks like someone shot-putting a medicine ball. These are basic mistakes that skilled shooting coaches correct in middle school athletes. They are not small adjustments required on an otherwise...
Okay, so here you see she's being fed the ball. She's in the right corner. She gets the ball. And again, if you're going to work on expanding your game, okay. But at least make sure that your technique is right. So I'm hoping that this guy and whoever else works with her will work on her technique, because I don't care how many you shoot like this with nobody guarding you. If your technique is not right, you might get a few here or there by happenstance or whatever, but you're not going to consistently knock down shots.
The most perplexing thing is Reese's unwavering dedication to using the incorrect techniques. She is ignoring the inside finishing that could make her a serious offensive danger, even when her films feature three-point attempts that clank off the rim. This exposes more than just subpar shooting technique. That IT implies a basic misinterpretation of her own value proposition as a player. Not only is this misdirected training focus bad basketball judgment, but it also shows that the player is unaware of her own advantages and disadvantages. Your training priorities should be clear when you're 6 feet 3 inches, extremely athletic, and yet shoot worse from a distance than a guard 7 inches shorter. Instead of making the most of her inherent skills, Reese seems intent on becoming a player she isn't.
Her arms, her wrists are crossed. Her wrists are crossed, which is the wrong form. Your wrist should not be crossed. You should be totally aligned to your target. So this means that her shooting hand, which is her left, is crossing over. Her elbow, therefore, jutting out.
What did basketball royalty have to say about Reese's shot mechanics? Then, astute players pay attention. Regretfully, the royal family isn't exactly praising Angel Reese right now. What began as passionate Hall of Famers backing has turned into a far more awkward public intervention. The most telling instance was when WNBA star Lisa Leslie spoke candidly about the core problem ailing Reese's game on her own podcast.
Going into my season 2, what's some advice that you would give for me?
Season 2, I can't wait to work with you some more. The biggest advice I have for you is going to be how you shoot your layups, period.
This wasn't just casual feedback, Leslie said simply, addressing the issue that Reese herself appears hesitant to confront. The 3-time WNBA MVP and 4-time Olympic gold medalist pointed out the career-threatening defect. Reese continues to ignore.
This is like WNBA leveling up and all eyes on her now. I think that she knows that she has to completely restructure her form, because that is not the way to be efficient in the post position that she is in. At the post position that she's in, a layup is supposed to be a given. She needs to improve her touch around the rim, like all over the place, but she seems to take these desperation shots